Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss a new chapter, a new concept, that is mathematical reasoning. So, mathematical reasoning has a wide range of applications. Uh, See, in our day-to-day life, we use mathematical reasoning unknowingly. Okay, indirectly, many ways we will make use. So what is that thing we were using daily, day-to-day basis, that we will discuss in this chapter, mathematical reasoning. So without wasting much time, we will begin with its content and what's all there in this particular chapter. So in mathematical language, there are two kinds of reasoning, namely inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. See, we all learned mathematical induction. So there we have used inductive reasoning because we understood P of n is a given question. Then we proved for n equals to 1. Then we assumed P of Then we assume for n equals to k, that is P of k. And with that assumption, with that induction, we proved n equals to k plus 1. So mathematical induction, we used inductive reasoning. Now in this chapter we will discuss deductive reasoning. Okay, so how to make use of the deductive reasoning, that we will use. So before doing all these things, we will make use of some important definitions in mathematical reasoning. Very first thing is assertive sentence. What do you mean by assertive sentence? A sentence that makes an assertion is called an assertive sentence or declarative sentence. I will go to college. Okay. Sun revolves around the sun. So this all comes under assertive sentence. Next is imperative sentence. A sentence that expresses a request or command is called imperative sentence. So with this you can easily produce an example. Can you give me a glass of water? Okay. Close the door. They all comes under command, as well as first one is a request. Can you please bring me water? Okay. Exclamatory sentence. A sentence that expresses some strong feeling is called imperative sentence, exclamatory sentence. Okay. So that is very important. Exclamatory sentence. It shows some strong feeling. Okay. There, make a small correction, please. So there I wrote imperative sentence, but it is actually exclamatory sentence. So that expresses some strong feelings is called exclamatory sentence. How big the Taj is? How big the India Gate is? How big the Taj Hotel is? Okay. Then interrogative sentence. A sentence that asks some question is called an interrogative sentence. What is your name? How old are you? So these all comes under the category of interrogative sentence. So these four are very important parts in reasoning. The first one is assertive sentence, a sentence that make an assertion. Imperative sentence, a sentence that expresses request or command. Exclamatory sentence, a sentence that expresses some strong feelings. And last one, interrogative sentence, a sentence that asks some question is called interrogative sentence. Now next we will discuss few more additional idea in this particular reasoning concept. So before that, we need to understand what do you mean. I told that imperative statement. Okay, sometimes we'll use the word sentence, we'll use statement. So what is statement? A statement or a proposition is an assertive or a declarative sentence which is either true or false but not both. So this is very important. A statement is a sentence which is either true or false, but not both. I wrote some examples. Okay, 2 plus 3 is 6. We all know this is false, but it is not true as well as false at a time. It is false. Udupi is a coastal city. We all know Udupi will come under coastal belt. So it's a true fact. Tirumala temple administration owned by TTD, Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. Okay, it's a true fact. So we all know these things. So 2 plus 3, there is no confusion. 6 is a false. Udupi is coastal city. Okay, Tirumala temple administration owned by TTD. So if we do not have any confusion about a sentence, so such sentence is called as statement. There is no confusion. Understood? So the very important note I mentioned here, a sentence which is both true and false simultaneously is not statement, rather it's a paradox. Now the question comes in our mind, if a sentence is at a time true as well as false, what it is called? It is called as a paradox. Okay. Next is negation of a statement. What do you mean by negation? The denial of a statement P is called negation of a statement and written as negation P. Okay, this is a symbol of negation. So negation means denial, saying no, I will go to college. The denial or negation is I will not go to college, or I will not go to the college. Its denial is I will go to college, means the reverse thing. I gave an example, negation of statement Kasaragod is city is given by Kasaragod is not a city. Understood? So they are some important, though it looks very simple, it plays some messy. We all will use these things in our day-to-day. That's why I told no, it's a concept familiar with our day-to-day life, because most of the time we will make use of all these things. Okay, so though it may be denial, though it may be statement, each and everything we will make use of these things in our life. Okay, now we'll move on to the next concept. So there are some basic connectives we use in mathematical reasoning. The very first thing is and. Then we will use or. And there are some connectives like if then, if and only if. So what do you mean by all these things? We will discuss one by one. The word and. Any two simple statements connected by the word and to form a compound statement. Compound means mixing. So any two simple statements connected by the word and to form a compound statement. So here the connective is and. So say for example, Sri Krishna temple is in Udupi and Udupi is in Karnataka. So it is a compound statement. Sri Krishna temple is in Udupi and Udupi is in Karnataka is a compound statement. Now these compound statement, if I broke, you will get two component statement. So I wrote this statement can be broken into two component statement given by. The first component is Sri Krishna temple is in Udupi and second component is Udupi is in Karnataka. So these two components formed a compound statement. Therefore, these component statements, Sri Krishna temple is in Udupi and Udupi is in Karnataka, together forms Sri Krishna temple is in Udupi and Udupi is in Karnataka. So this is a very important thing, though it looks very silly. So mathematician found something new in this particular. But there is one note. The compound statement with and is true if its component statements are true. So this thing you keep in mind. A compound statement, say for example, Sri Krishna temple is in Udupi and Udupi is in Karnataka. It's a compound statement. It is true if its components are true. If here the components are Sri Krishna temple is in Udupi, it's a true. Udupi is in Karnataka, it's a true. Therefore the compound statement Sri Krishna temple is in Udupi and Udupi is in Karnataka is a true statement. The second thing is the compound statement with and is false if any or all of its component statements are false. So Suppose if Sri Krishna temple is not in Udupi, and if I wrote Sri Krishna temple is in Udupi and Udupi is in Karnataka, if anyone fails to give right answer or both false, then the compound statement will false. Understood? So this is very important thing. So that's why we can say the word and. Any two simple statement can be connected by the word and to form a compound statement. Okay, therefore I gave some example. With this you can easily manage these things. Okay, now we will move on to the next connective, that is or. The word or. Okay, so there we used and here we are using or. So what do you mean by this? The word or. Any two statements connected by the word or to form a compound statement. Okay. So many times we will make use of this connective or. The university is closed if it is holiday or Sunday. So I gave one example. Okay. This statement can be broken into two component statement given by the university is closed if it is holiday. Second one is the university is closed if it is Sunday. Okay. So the word or can be used in many ways. Now these two are component statement. University is closed if it is holiday. University is closed if it is Sunday. So these two are component. When join them, it gives a compound statement with or. Now there is one more. A compound statement with an or is true when one component is true or both components are true. Say for the example, in compound statement, if one is false, another one is true, whole is false. But in the specialty of or is if any one true, another one is false, so it is true. Okay, a compound statement with an or is false when both components are false. If one is true, another one is false, still it is true. If first one is true, second one is false, true. First one is false, second one is true, it's true. But if both are false, then only compound statement with or is in false. So university is closed if it is holiday is a true statement. University is closed if it is Sunday. It's a true statement. So it's a true. Suppose if anyone false, one is true. Still it is true only. So that's the specialty of connective or. Now there are a few more important terminologies in mathematical reasonings. The very important is quantifiers. Okay, so quantifiers. So what do you mean by quantifiers? What it wants to say? So that's a very important things we want to discuss here. In mathematics, we come across many mathematical statements containing phrases. I guess many times we heard like there exists and for every. So they comes under a category of quantifiers. Understood? So if you have any statements with the phrases there exist and for every, so such thing, okay, such thing means these phrases are called as quantifiers. Next is implications. In mathematics, we come across many statements of the form if P then Q, if Q then P, if and only if. So such statements are called as implications. Implies means okay, while proving mathematical results, most of the time we write downward arrow mark which implies. Therefore what they want to say here is in mathematics we come across many statements of the form if P then Q, if Q then P, and if and only if. So such statements are called as implications. So see, next three are there, no? They are very important for competitive exam point of view. Most of the competitive examination question is based on such category only. Contrapositive. So what is contrapositive? If P and Q are two statements, then the contrapositive of the implication if P then Q is. If P and Q are two statements, then the contrapositive of the implication if P then Q is. If negation Q, then negation P. So this is very important. If P and Q are two statements, if there is a okay statement like if P then Q, then its contrapositive is given by if negation Q then negation P. So that is very important. Next is converse. If P and Q are two statements, then the converse of implication if P then Q is if Q then P. So this is very important. If you have a statements like P and Q, and if you want to form a converse, then the converse of the implication if P then Q is if Q then P. So that is very important, you need to keep in mind. Now we have inverse. So what do you mean by inverse? Most of the time we heard the word inverse. So what it wants to say, inverse is a demand. If P and Q are two statements, then the inverse of if P then Q is if negation P then negation Q. So this is very important. If you have P and Q two statements, then if you want to give inverse of this particular statement, then it is given by if P then Q, its inverse is given by if negation P then negation Q. So these five are very important, and one by one quantifiers. So the statements containing there exist for every phrases. Implication means that even if P then Q, if and only if all comes under implication. Contrapositive of if P then Q is if negation Q then negation B. Converse of a statement if P then Q is exactly reverse if Q then P. Inverse of the statement if P then Q is if negation P then negation Q. So they all plays a vital role in proving a reasoning result. So though it looks very simple, but it plays a vital role in solving problem. Okay, so while solving entrance question, they all plays a major role. We'll discuss the next concept. Now the very important thing here is the validity of the statement. So what do you mean by validity? So validity of statement is nothing but checking the trueness of a statement. Okay, checking the trueness of a statement. So how to check the validity of statement, or how to check the trueness of a statement? So there are few categories: validity of statements with and, validity of statements with or, validity of statement with if then, validity of statement if and only. So we will discuss validity of statement of all these things one by one. So the first thing is validity of statements with and. If P and Q are mathematical statements, then in order to show that the statement P and Q is true, we follow the following step. The first step is prove that or show that statement P is true. Second one is prove that the statement Q is true. So you need to follow these two steps, must and should. Don't skip anything. Therefore, if P and Q are a mathematical statement, then in order to show statement P and Q true, we follow these two steps. First one we will show P is true, then we will show statement Q is true. Now we will discuss what is the criteria for checking validity of statement with or. If P and Q are mathematical statements, then in order to show the statement P or Q is true, we follow the following steps. So first we will do assume P is false and we will show Q is true. Second one, assume Q is false and show P must be true. So we need to follow both steps in case of or. In case of and, it is very simple. But in case of or, you need to take a bit risk. That is, you need to assume P is false and you need to show Q must be true. Second case, you need to assume Q is false and you need to show P must be true. Okay, so these all things are these are the methods for validity of a statement with and or. Now validity of statements with if then. If P and Q are mathematical statements, then to prove the validity of statement if p then q, we may use any one of the following steps. So this is very important for validity of statement with if then. If p and q are mathematical statements, then to prove the validity of statement if p then q, we may use any one of the following steps. So these three are methods. One is direct method, second one is contrapositive method, and third one is contradiction. So how to make use of if p then q using direct method? In direct method, what we will do here is we'll assume p is true and we'll prove q is true. So we'll assume in direct method p is true and we'll prove q is true. So as simple as. Okay. Next is contrapositive method. In contrapositive method, if a statement having if then, we'll assume q is false and we'll prove p is false. It is like negation. Q implies negation. So in contrapositive, we'll assume q is false and we'll prove p is also false. Next one is contradiction method using if then. In this case, what we'll do is we'll assume p is true and q is false. We'll assume p is true and q is false and obtain a contradiction from above step. We'll use that contradiction from above step. How to make use of this thing? I have a separate next slide, so that you will come to know how to prove using contradiction, because I guess most of you heard this result in your lower classes of proving root 7 is rational, root 2 using contradiction method. So same thing we will use here. Now the last criteria in such category is validity of statement with if and only if. So and or if then if and only if. In order to prove the validity of statement if and only if, we follow following steps. First one is I'll show that p is true. If p is true, then q is true. Second one is show that if q is true, then p is true. Okay, so in order to prove the validity of statement if and only if, we follow the following steps. If p is true, then q is true. Second one is if q is true, then p is true. Both you need to carry. That's why I wrote note as a, in order to prove above result, we need to apply both steps while checking validity of statements having if and only if. Okay, so this is very important thing. So while proving validity of statement with if and only if. Now it's a very interesting. I guess most of you heard this thing. So just now I spoke about contradiction method, and you all heard this result in your classes of 10 standard might be. Okay, so this is very important as well as very interesting thing. Verify by the method of contradiction that root 7 is irrational. So most of you have different method known to you. So one such method is contradiction method. How to prove in a contradiction method? So in the initial stage, we will assume that root 7 is rational, and we all know how rational numbers looks like. Any number of the form p by q, where p and q are integers, q not equal to 0 and their GCD is 1, or you can say having no common factor other than 1, is called rational number. So we will assume that root 7 is rational. Therefore rational number can be written as a by b form. As I wrote, root 7 equals to a by b, where a and b are integers and having no common factor with b not equal to 0. In the next step, I will square both sides. So you will get 7 is equal to a square divided by b square. Then what I will do, I'll cross multiply. So when you cross multiply, you will get a square equal to 7b square. I will call this a square equal to 7b square as a equation 1 for my future reference. Now if a square equal to 7b square means I can easily say 7 divides a square. Okay, 7 divides a square, and you all know if any number divides a square and if it is prime number, obviously I can say, we all know 7 is a prime number. So 7 divides a square means I can say 7 divides a. Okay, now what do you mean by 7 divides a? If 7 divides a means I can say a is equal to 7 times of something. So I call that something as a c. Okay, that something as an integer c. Therefore 7 divides a means a equal to 7c. So in the next step, I will use that a equal to 7c in equation 1 after squaring. So when you square, you will get a square equal to 49c square. Now put this a square equal to 49c square in equation 1. You will get 49c square equal to 7b square. So 7 ones are 7 sevens are. So 7c square equal to b square. So 7c square equal to b square means 7 divides b square. Okay, 7 divides b square. So 7 divides b square means as 7 is a prime number, I can say 7 divides b. Okay, now previously we got 7 divides a. Now we are getting 7 divides b means 7 is common for both a as well as b, which is contrary to my assumption. Initially I assumed that root 7 is rational and a and b do not have a common factor, but here a and b have a common factor as a 7, which is contrary to my assumption. So my assumption is wrong. Where I went wrong? In the initial stage only. I went wrong in the initial stage only. There I assumed that root 7 is rational by assuming root 7 in the form a by b, where a and b do not have a common factor, but here a and b has 7 as a common factor. So there only I went wrong. So initially I took wrong decision while throwing, so I got contrary. Therefore I can say my assumption root 7 rational is wrong, hence root 7 is irrational. So that's all about the mathematical reasoning. So all you need is your very keen observations in solving problem. So you may say that, hey, what's in that? You can easily manage it. No wrong thing in that. We can manage it easily. No need to give much importance. But it plays a major role. So in addition to that mathematical reasoning, you people have AND gate, OR gate, XOR gate, NOR gate. So it has a wide range of applications in physics as well as electronics. So it's because of this reasoning chapter only, when to use AND, when to use OR. We never use everywhere AND, we never use everywhere OR. Okay, we'll use our reasoning. So reasoning means what? Ability to think. If you have that ability of thinking, you can manage it very easily. So what I suggest you personally is, please go through the results I have mentioned in this particular video with respect to and or everything. So once you have manage all this definition, you will easily analyze what's there in this particular step. And please if possible, try to memorize all these criteria. What is contrapositive, what is converse, what is inverse, how to make use of all these results. So please take care of all these things. And I will suggest you people, because nowadays there is no problem with the internet. Okay, you all are very comfortable with the internet. So there are some truth table available in the internet. Okay, if you observe, if you type in Google, or if you do Google truth table, so there you will get AND table, OR table, then negation table. You will find it very easily. So what is my personal suggestion to you people is, please note down all these tables and memorize it, because somewhere you will get its benefit. So it's my sincere suggestion to you people, download this these logic gates as well as the truth table and memorize it with while solving problem. You actually love to solve problem based on it. It's very interesting. So that's why it's my sincere a request to you people to have all these things. So once you note down these things, in addition to that, if you take care of all these definition, you will enjoy learning mathematical reasoning. Rest all you will manage it very easily. Okay, so always remember all this definition and show some interest in learning new things in this mathematical reasoning. That's it from the mathematical reasoning. Okay, in the next, okay, I will come with a few more videos, okay, with the news ideas, so that you will update your knowledge. Okay, thank you very much. Take care.